Our topic for today would be statement of opinion or assertion. When you say opinion or assertion, these are how you're going to define them. It's either of the two. So which do you think here is the opinion? Correct, is the green one. It's a personal belief or judgment. And mostly it's using the phrases in my view or I believe. And assertion, on the other hand, is a clearly defined claim or an expression of a strong belief on a particular topic. Opinion, other things that you need to remember about it are, if we're going to define it, it's a personal belief or judgment not supported with proof or certainty. We need to note the word personal, but because it's using phrases that are expressing personal opinions. Example here is, in my opinion, Philippines has the best street food. It's using the adjective the best for the noun street food, and it's just focusing on your personal judgment about the street food in the Philippines. Therefore, it's an opinion. Okay, here are the different phrases to remember when you state an opinion. In my opinion, in my view, in my experience, as far as I'm concerned, speaking for myself, personally I think, personally I believe or feel, I tend to think that, I am sure, I am certain, I am convinced that, I am not sure, I'm not certain, but as far as I know, as far as I understand, or as far as I can see, as I see it, I'd say that, and among others. What do you notice in these phrases? Correct. These phrases are actually containing the pronouns I, me, myself, or I am. Okay? So that those particular pronouns are actually stating how this opinion is personal or opinionated in a way, okay? But not all opinions contain the phrases or the pronoun I. Okay, now how do you know if it's an opinion? Okay, let's proceed. For you to know that, you need to differentiate it with assertion or compare it with assertion. When we say assertion, it's a clearly defined claim of the side you want to argue. So actually, assertion is also an opinion, but the difference of the two is that an opinion, as an assertion, is actually an opinion that is clearly defined and strong in a manner that it's declaring or expressing a strong belief on a particular topic that are provided with evidences or a particular phrase in that statement which is making it thought provoking and making it or appearing to imply that it provides relevant information about the argument or about the issue presented. To compare, these are the difference of the two. When we say opinion, it's a personal belief or judgment. When we say assertion, it's a belief or judgment still. It's a claim, but it is clearly defined. Okay? Reason for that is that uh, it is containing well supported with the phrases which answers the question why. Okay, so in opinion, the reasons of such is presumed only. For instance, when we're going to say that's the worst restaurant ever. Now, if that is your statement, that is actually an opinion, and the reason for which is only presumed. So if you're going to have that statement, you're going to presume that that certain restaurant has the worst food or it does not give delicious food. It's not to your liking, or the that certain restaurant and its manager or the crew are not good in customer service, so that's why it's the worst restaurant. So it's just containing a belief or judgment that is that that whose reason is presumed and not stated. Okay, but compared to assertion, it's well supported with phrases that answer the question why or supported by evidences. Let's say, for instance, when we're going to say, Wendy's has is the best restaurant because it has a lot of customers going in, or Wendy's has established its name by having a lot of um, regular customers. Okay, so that one is established with the reasons why it's the best restaurant, or how it establishes its name. Okay, so when we say opinion, also it's merely emotional or no attempt at proof. Okay, so when we say we should not cut down trees, that's actually an assertion if we're going to present reasons why we should not cut down trees. Okay, but if we're going to say trees trees we should not cut down trees, just that, it's just an opinion. Okay, it would be an assertion if it's supported by evidences. But it will be different in journalism. Opinion then will be amounting to editorial, which is actually the heart of a newspaper because it's containing a challenge for your assumptions. It is an avenue for information or insight on a factual issue presented in the newspaper or the news article in the front page of the newspaper, and it's a public forum for ideas. Okay, so this opinion then would be like a compilation of the assertions presented with views that are supported with evidences and information and insights that are proven to be um, valid because of reasons presented by the speaker or presented by the writer in the newspaper. Here in this module, you sort of need to choose a lot of topic for an argument. Your teachers are actually making you do this, wherein they're going to give you the leeway in choosing a topic for a certain argumentative essay, for instance. Now, if you're going to choose a topic for an argument, these are the things that you need to remember. You should focus on those not focused on a step-by-step process. You should also choose those which require judgment, view, or opinion, and they should not be purely factual or not based on pure facts, okay? In these five examples, which do you think is the topic which are not for an argument? Correct. It's number one, how to become a karate master. Why? Because this particular topic does not require a judgment, view, or opinion. It's just focusing on the process on becoming a karate master. What else? Correct. Number three, steps needed to get a driver's license. Because it's in the first one, those not focused on a step-by-step process. This one is focused on the step-by-step process of getting a driver's license, and it's not requiring any judgment, view, or opinion. It's just purely the process itself, purely the factual process of how you do it. Okay? So the other topics, which are university education should be free, legalizing same-sex marriage, and increasing tax on imported food, are actually good topics for an argument. Reason are they are having the factors that needs to be considered in choosing a topic for an argument, or um, they contain those particular um, factors that I'm going to discuss. Okay, so what are those factors? The factors to consider in assertions are: number one, it should be interesting or controversial, contradictory to insignificant or non-debatable. It should draw attentions to reader and leave them eager to learn more. It's thought-provoking, and it gives them the implication that it includes relevant issues or ideas on the topic. If it's insignificant and non-debatable, it's just going to say that trees uh, the trees help the park beautiful. Now, if that certain statement is actually opinionated, it's an opinion. Now, if you want to make that an assertion, you're going to say the city power company should pursue other options instead of cutting down the 200-year-old tree in the park. Okay, so the issue presented here is cutting down the 200-year-old tree in the park, and then it's giving uh, a suggestion for a course of action for the city power company to pursue other options instead of cutting down the 200-year-old tree in the park. Okay, so it's interesting and controversial and leaves the idea to the readers that the next sentence or the preceding statements would give them the relevance of that particular opinion on the topic presented. Next is, it's not a research question, but instead a basic answer to that research question. And it should be an assertive view and not tentative. Okay? Example here is, teenagers lack the maturity to go to war and should not be allowed to enroll in active service. Okay, so it's assertive because it's requiring this teenagers to have the maturity first in order for them to enroll. Okay, so it's giving the adjective that they lack the maturity. They are defined as, or they are described as people who lack maturity, therefore they should not be allowed to enroll in active service. So it's assertive in a way that it's presenting the idea in a strong manner. Okay, next. Number three, specific instead of general, conveys a point specific enough to make the readers guess about the rest of the paper. So compared to general, it should not be general, it should be specific. In the module that you have, it's actually presenting how many religions have various views. Okay, that one is a general thing because it's not mentioning which religion is it pertaining to. Now, to make it more engaging and interesting, it needs to be specific. Okay, so here in this example, it's using, or it's already specifying that advanced cultures throughout history, such as the Greek, Roman, and Aztec societies, have centered around polytheistic religions. It's actually having the same thought with the first sentence that I've presented, which is many religions have various views. But then here, it's already specifying Greek, Roman, and Aztec societies. Therefore, it's an assertion or a good topic for assertion. Okay, to compare, you need also to compare bad assertion and good assertion. When you're going to have the factors that I've presented, it's interesting, controversial, and specific. It includes facts and evidences and creates a strong stand on every claim, then it's a good assertion. What makes it bad is when it does not have a strong stand on the issue because it's not validated with evidence, or it's simply stating merely emotional opinions on the matters presented. Technically, when you say bad assertion, it's just the opinion that is entirely personal. What does assertion include? You need to remember this SSV. Number one, it includes strong claim. It includes support in a form of evidence presented in the text. And it's validated with opinions, with evidences. Therefore, it's a validated view and opinion on the matter presented. Okay, now let's proceed to the next topic, which is formulating claims of fact, policy, and value. Okay, here, this is an activity in your module. What do you think is the answer in number one? Now, let me read and give me. You may guess the answer throughout. Number one, it states or asserts that something is the case, typically without providing evidence or proof. What do you think is the answer? It's already stated in the previous discussions? Correct. The answer here is opinion. Number two, it is an information used as evidence or as part of a report or news article. What do you think is the answer? Correct. It's a fact. When we say information or what's included in a news article, it's fact. Next, number three. It is a view or judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. What is the answer? Correct. It's claim, okay? Next, it is a confident and forceful statement of fact or belief. So as stated a while back, this is assertion. And lastly, it is an exchange of diverging or opposite views, typically a heated or angry one. And the answer here is correct, argument. Now let's define what is a claim. When we say claim, it asserts something to be true. It can be factual or a judgment, an opinion, and works on their own or in conjunction with other claims. So they can be included in a whole paragraph or included in a whole composition. It's crying out a proposition which can be argued, verified, or disproved. Okay, so a claim can be a factual opinion or a judgment. But technically, it's containing assertions. Okay, so there are three types of claims. We have here claims of fact, claims of policy, and claims of value. I included them in one slide so that you would easily remember or easily spot the difference among these three. When we say, so let's go over them individually. So when we say statement of fact or claims of fact, it's a statement about how things were. Mostly, these are opinions that are made a fact because of time, because of research, because of statistics, or any presented evidence, or any presumed um, cause or source of that particular factual statement or claim of fact. It includes some light or neutral opinions or views, neutral adjectives that are used in the statement. Example of which is this: cancer is a common disease, but it is not contagious. Here in this sentence, it's using the adjectives common and contagious, which are actually can be disproved or verified by data presented. And here in this example, actually, it's proved by time already that it's not contagious, wherein cancer cannot be gotten from associating yourself with cancer patients. And it's a common disease because there are a lot of people diagnosed with cancer, or it's already a disease that we know of. Therefore, it's common. Next is the claims of policy. When we say claims of policy, it includes the phrases ought to, must, or should. It actually suggests a course of action or an obligation on certain matters. So if you're going to read a certain policy, claim of policy, it's um, leading you to act upon things. I mentioned this during the discussion on arguments, wherein if you're going to focus on convincing the reader, you either convince them to believe you or convince them to do something. So here in the claims of policy, it's actually wanting you to have a course of action or do something. Okay? Example, parents should motivate their children to learn even at home. So who is convinced to do something? It's the parents. They should motivate their children. So that's the course of action. Motivating their children to learn even at home. Okay? That's claims of policy. And the last one is claims of value. Expression of approval or disapproval proves that an action, belief, or idea is right or wrong, good or bad, moral or immoral, and among others. It is using an adjective for that certain topic that is presented. Example is mercy killing is immoral. Here in this statement, it's giving the value of that particular topic, which is it's telling that it's immoral. Compared to claims of fact, it's already containing adjectives that are strong or containing your idea on the topic, whether you agree or disagree on it. Okay, so those are the difference of the three. Remember that all of this can be included in one paragraph or one particular composition. It does not mean that you're just going to focus on the fact. You can also use either or all of these three. Okay, so for you to better understand this, let's proceed with an example. So here, the topic in this three examples for each of the types of claims focus on the topic internet access or the need for internet access during the pandemic. Okay, for statement of fact, it's this is how you state it or this is how you present it. A cell phone with internet access can help learners to continue their studies during the pandemic. So it's just a declarative sentence containing an information how it can help learners to continue their studies or internet access can do so during the pandemic. A statement of policy, remember the usage of the term should, must, or ought to. In this statement, the word that is used here is should. Students during this pandemic should be provided with cell phones that have access to the internet. So what is the course of action that needs to be done? Correct. It's provide students with cell phones that have internet access. And lastly is value, claims of value. It is important to have internet access nowadays, especially with the struggle of distance learning. So it's telling the idea, the strong belief that internet access is important for distance learning. Okay, for the activity, go on and try. So this is a fact. I provided here a fact. Try in your notebook to translate it in a claim of policy and a claim of value. So education's importance is established throughout the years, especially since it helps in a person's progress. So the topic here is the importance of education. Okay, now let's have the answer. I hope that you also already answered this part. So let me give you an example of claim of policy and value for this. Okay, so here it is. One should educate himself to achieve progress. So the word that is used that contains a suggestion obligating the person is the word should. One should educate himself to achieve progress. So the course of action that should be done is educating oneself. Also, you can also write education must be prioritized. So the word used is must. So the course of action to be done is prioritizing education. And lastly, we have the claim of value. Education is important to one's life. So it's just giving the value, giving the opinion that education is important. Okay, so that's all for the topic on assertion and opinion and the claims of policy, fact, and value. Au revoir. Thank you for listening.